I'll take a piece of pepperoni pizza.
We have came to court today, and I'm going to need 3 jury members. I'm going to need 3 jury members. Right here, and Ryan Weaver. I'm going to need y'all to come over here, and we're going to need more than this. I need you guys to take your seat on the jury. Here's your card. Here's your card. And here's your card. This is what's going to happen in the courthouse today. We're going to meet some kings. Our first king is going to be Solomon, and he's going to tell us his story. And our jury over here is going to decide if in the end, if Solomon made a good choice in the end, or if he made a bad choice in the end. Okay, are y'all ready? Let me call Solomon up to the stand. Solomon! Solomon!
Hello. My name is King Solomon. I was a king in Israel for 40 years. Things started out well. God gave me wisdom, and I used wisdom to make Israel a strong nation. But I built a temple for God. I wrote many proverbs and other wisdom for a while. The choices I made saved God. In my desire to make Israel a great nation, I hired many of my countrymen to build the city into a great city. I feared that I worked the people too hard. Also, I married women from foreign nations, and these women didn't honor God. They served false gods. In my desire to please my wives, I turned away from God and worshiped those false gods too. It was the downfall of my kingdom.
Okay. So he started out where he loved God and he asked for wisdom. And you know what? Let's look at our evidence here. He was over all of this. He was over all this land. And he worshiped God and he asked for wisdom and he wrote almost the whole book of Proverbs. And then what happened? What did he start to do? He started to look at who? False gods and women who didn't serve the Lord. So, jury, what do you think? You think in the end when he started serving false gods and started marrying a bunch of women, do you think it's a bad choice or a good choice? Bad choice? Bad choice? When he started false? Bad choice. So what's our verdict? What did Solomon do? Did he make good choices or bad choices? Bad choices. Thank you, Solomon. All right. Now we're going to need a whole new set of jury members. Because we're going to have another king up. Mine. Christopher White. Here's your cards. Here's your cards. Here's your cards. Okay. Listen, this next king is named Jeroboam. That's his name. And he's going to come and he's going to tell us his story. Are you guys ready? Jeroboam.
Hello, my name is Jeroboam. I was King Solomon's official, and I was very skilled at my job. And the king put me in charge of a huge labor force. Because of my position, I could see that the people weren't altogether happy with King Solomon's leadership. After he was asking people to do too much work. One day, I was walking out in Jerusalem, and the prophet met me along the way. He was wearing a brand new cloak. And when he met me, he took this new cloak and tore it into 12 pieces. He told me that the 12 pieces of cloth represented the 12 tribes of Israel. He then gave me the 10 pieces of cloth and explained what it all meant. He said that Solomon had worshiped false gods, and his kingdom would be taken away from his sons after he died. 10 of the tribes of Israel would come to me, and I would be them. Only one tribe would go to Solomon's son. God told me that if I followed after him, my kingdom would be as grand as Solomon. Solomon tried to kill me because of what the prophet said. I had to flee to Egypt.
loved God, and he served him. And you know what God told him? The cloth was ripped into 10 pieces. So 10 of these great nations were all going to be his. And he was going to be a great king. But there was one thing he had to do. Did anybody hear what he had to do? He had to worship God. He had to put God first. And he would have a great kingdom. A wonderful kingdom. He just had to worship God. But you know what? He started fearing that they would love God and become bigger. So he decided to make idols. What are idols? Somebody raise their hand and tell me what an idol is. Do you know what an idol is, Max? It's a thing. It's something you put before God. So he made those idols and he wanted the people to worship them. Does God want us to worship idols? No. That is a sin. So let me talk to my jury. In the end, when Jeroboam made the idols, was that a good choice or a bad choice? Bad choice. Christopher? Bad choice. Why? Bad choice. The ruling? Bad choice. Are you guys ready to meet our third and final king? I'm going to need a whole new jury. You guys ready? I'm going to need a whole new jury. I'm going to need Tyler.
Did you get a picture of me? I want to be with Bubby.
And I'm going to need
I want to be with
John.
Bubby.
You want to be what?
John, give me this.
Bubby. All right, you can go sit in the same chair as Bubby.
Down.
Okay, this is our last king. Are you guys ready to hear about him? Our first two all made bad choices. So let's hear and see what this king's going to do. Let's listen to Rehoboam.
Hello, I am Solomon's son. I expected to become king of Israel after my father died. But that's not what happened. The entire country went to town to watch me become king. But Jeroboam heard about it all the way to Egypt and came back to steal the kingdom from me. He and his followers confronted me and asked me to make sure that I treated the workers better than Solomon had. I told him to go away for 3 days and come back for my answer. Some of my advisors told me to give in to Jeroboam's request, but other advisors told me to make the people work even harder. I chose to tell Jeroboam and all the people that I would make them work harder. Then 10 of the tribes of Israel rebelled against me and made Jeroboam their king. I was left with only one tribe, the tribe of Judah. I wanted to go to war to unite the kingdom again, but God told me not to. God said that everything had happened according to his plan. So we didn't fight, Jeroboam and the 10 tribes of Israel. Later, I too abandoned God to worship false idols.
Okay, so this is what happened. When he first started out, he was Solomon's son. And if a king steps down, who's supposed to come into their place? Their son. So he is supposed to inherit all this land. And he goes and he meets with people. And what Solomon had done, when he started putting those women and those idols before God, he started overworking everybody. He started overworking everybody, and everybody was growing tired. So then, when Jeroboam came in, everybody was being overworked. And they said, the elders said, don't overwork them. Take some of that off. But then his young friends and the young overseers said, no, work them harder. Work them harder. Your father should have worked them harder. So you know what he done? He chose a bad choice. He chose to follow his younger friends than the elders. And he put harder work on them. And you know what they did? They rebelled against him. And all that he was left with was Judah. This little place right here. And he lost everything else. So he got discouraged. And he turned away from God. And he started to worship idols. So let's go over here to our jury.